when it's all said and done. The reason why I say in theory is most of the time works out quite well. Sometimes we have little bugs here and there, but we should be able to try to ship that out to you. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get started here right away. The big things we want to be talking about and really kind of focusing on here is how you triple the amount of appointments is scheduled with just a simple and highly effective 157-year-old marketing technique. We will give you a lot of examples really kind of throughout so you have an understanding of how this works exactly. The big thing is that we want you to stop flushing your marketing money down the toilet. It all depends on how people define marketing waste. Sometimes people say it's 50%, 60%. Some of you probably experience almost 80% to a certain extent of marketing waste. After the 32 different verticals, 100 split tests, and millions of revenue we have produced, we have discovered pretty much a foolproof strategy that almost any small business can and have implemented within just 4 days. The biggest thing is it's very easy to deploy. We had one client, it cracks me up, a multi-million-dollar commercial real estate developer. They handed it over to their 14-year-old daughter. And when they first told me about this, and it's like, no offense, I'm sure she's bright, I'm sure she's great, but at the same time, she's in junior high school. You own a multi-million-dollar commercial property unit, or development, excuse me. And they're like, no, she can handle it, just train her. So I did. And it actually worked out really well. So it's as simple that even she can really kind of take it. Not taking it away from her, but I'm trying to explain that, hey, it's not rocket science what we're trying to get down here. By the end of the presentation, I'll share with you the exact strategies that we use. So the big promise that I have is that you'll know exactly how we use this 157-year-old marketing technique. We also learn how to leverage the new media along with old media, and we'll really dive pretty deep into that. And at the end of the system, you'll know, or at the end of the webinar, you'll know exactly what we do to get 8 to 10 times the typical results. I'm not just making that stuff up. It's been proven. I'll show you exactly what it is. It's a workshop. But first, what I want you to do is turn off your phones, turn off any type of notifications, get off of Facebook, go where it's nice and quiet, and simply open up your mind when we're getting ready to discuss exactly what we have going on here. Open up your mind, and I'll tell you the story. We went from 0.015% ROI to, on average, some of our clients over 30%. And it was a painful experience. No client's going to be happy when we return to them a 0.015 return on investment. And because of that experience, we really had to dive deep and figure out what was going on and how to make it better. And being able to take a step back, that's how we discovered the system we're about ready to show you. What you'll do, you'll get better results than Fortune 500 companies, and you'll gain these results by actually spending less money than you potentially are right now. So stick around to the end of the presentation. I'll send you a checklist if you remind me that we use in our agency when we deploy the highly effective strategy, which we're going to go in and talk about. This is virtually guaranteed to produce an extremely high ROI. The big key and asterisk to this is when you use this exact simple process. So keep in mind, it's not your fault. I run into people all the time. People always believe they're a marketing expert, and they always give you all kinds of advice on marketing. However, the majority of people have never done it consistently. That's the key with people. Majority of times, people don't do anything real consistent. So they haven't done anything consistently to produce the results that I can now guarantee. And trust me, you can see people falling for this type of stuff all the time. So it's not your fault. Remember also, like, people have talked about, and I bring this up as kind of an old joke, but fax blasts back in the day. And we're talking about technology and marketing, how it's changed, and how fax blasts actually in the 80s used to be pretty effective. And then one morning in the 90s, you'd walk into the office and you'd have a pile of papers on the floor, and obviously you just toss them all away. Going into telemarketing, and then moving on to direct mail. Then this thing called the internet came out, and let's really try to figure out how to get higher Google rankings. And I guess this is before even Google rankings, is more or less AOL rankings. And all you had to do is simply repeat your main keyword 50 to 60 times on your page, and you had good rankings. Then we moved into the social sphere, MySpace, Facebook, those type of things. And again, technology is always changing. Methods of marketing is always changing. So what I want to do is be able to come back to really the basics, discover the basics, show you the basics, and how to leverage it in today's changing world. So again, I've been there. The biggest thing we've talked about, and I'll hit home on this numerous times, no one has been consistent in the process of most of their marketing they do, especially small business owners. Small business owners are fantastic at their skill set. not always the best at marketing itself. So if you're like many of those small business owners, you may be nervous about testing a new marketing strategy, but again, that is other small business owners and not you. I am passionate about helping out small businesses. That's where I got my start. That's where my family, really, that's where what the majority of my family does, is own and operates inside of small businesses. So again, as we talked about, many small business owners are great, excellent even, at running their business, but admittedly, they don't know where to allocate marketing funds. And that's why you've joined us here. So we can help kind of show you the process and how we have been able to take this technique and get proven results. So many of the success stories started with small businesses with virtually little marketing options, low marketing budgets, and previously failed campaigns, which I'm sure you can relate to a certain extent. I told you to shut off notifications. Look at that. I failed to shut off that one. So what my promise is, again, is I want to be able to give you some aha moments, some things you can take, some things you can implement. So make sure you're taking notes really throughout as well. So a little bit of information on myself. Steve Molly. People have called me the marketing guy next door. I've owned an ad agency in the Midwest for the past 11 years. We do a lot on the digital front, but we also do a lot on the print and the direct mail front. I've led trainings all across the Midwest and on both coasts over the years as well. Anything from new marketing techniques to simply proving the ROI, to bootstrap marketing, to talking about how to leverage digital marketing. And at times I feel like I'm living in a sorority house. I have two beautiful daughters, beautiful wife, I have a female dog at home as well. And so at times life becomes pretty interesting, especially when I get teamed up on again and again and again and again. A little bit more information about me. Small business is my passion. Out of the 10 aunts and uncles, mom and dad, that I have in a family, 9 out of the 10 have owned their own business and continue to own their own business. And so I've grown up right around the small business. And the thing that I've always noticed with each one of them, they were very, very talented when it came to their craft. However, when it came to really marketing and gaining leads and building up revenue on a consistent basis, that was always kind of a common struggle. So what I decided to do was 13 days after graduating from UNL, I started assisting small businesses. I wasn't interested in helping national big brands. I had opportunities to go into big brands, but to me that just felt painful because, again, my whole background was small business. So I wanted to really just stick to my entrepreneurial roots and focus just on small businesses. And so that's the agency that we built, and this is also Molly Academy. Molly Academy is exactly what we do, is we focus on small businesses in certain niches and helping teach them how to really take this and implement a lot of it themselves. So on the national speaking front, I've done a lot of regional and national conventions and conferences, anything from small food manufacturers to tourism to small business owners, to transportation, to anything and really everything almost in between. Here a couple years ago, I was voted a top speaker at a national conference that took place. You know what? I am shutting this thing off real quick because I am tired of all the notifications. Perfect. I apologize for that. One of the top questions I do get on a very regular basis is, how do I make my marketing dollar stretch? Again, there's only so much cash that you have. How do I make it go farther? And how do I make it stretch and get the most bang for the buck and really try to prove the bang for the buck at the end of the day? So some companies we've consulted with and built strategies for, anything from big companies, Mutual of Omaha, University of Nebraska, State of Nebraska, to again to city entities, regional events, tourism entities, small business owners. We've done some things on the national franchise side of it. So kind of anything and everything in between. It's worked out fairly well for most of them. And I'm going to show you exactly what I do for some of those major corporations that have paid us tens of thousands of dollars. And I'll show you how to do it for pennies on the dollar compared to that, especially while still pulling that 8 to 10 times the results. So the process that we're talking about, a portion of the process we're talking about has been tested and verified, not just by us, but by Fortune 500 companies. Nike, McDonald's, Apple. Every Fortune 500 company uses this as a form, or at least a form of this method, on a very consistent basis. Some of them do it on a weekly basis, some of them kind of a bi-weekly basis, whatever it may be, but it's very, very consistent. So even those companies, the Fortune 500 companies, are thrilled to remain at a 2 to 4% ROI level. And a lot of small businesses would be fairly happy, not jumping up and down happy, but at least they'd be able to see some money coming in at the 2 to 4% ROI. But again, I want to show you exactly what we do to really kind of build that up. So average is 3%. Good is really 6 to 8%. Like I said, at times ours is over 30%. So when it comes to industries themselves, it's a common question we get in the industries we work in. We've worked with eye doctors, chiropractors, dentists, consultants, engineers, banks, real estate, accountants, transportation. The type of people we have targeted on these type of campaigns is anybody and everybody. CEOs, COOs, CPAs, pet owners, health nuts, high-end car owners, this typical small business owner, homeowners. We have target a lot of times moms with certain size families, and it's worked out well regardless of exactly who your target is. So what I'm talking about here is not drastic changes, and we'll be able to dive right into this. It's really tried and true tweaks. Mary Pat was a former government worker. She was 64 and a half when we went through this training. And the reason why I know that is that she was very clear. In 6 months, she was going to retire. She didn't want to learn anything new whatsoever. She just wanted to simply bide her time for 6 months. We were able to train her on this, and she was able to implement it. And by the end of the whole training, she made the comment. She's like, well, this is kind of what I've been doing before, right? I'm like, yeah, to a certain extent. She's like, okay, so I just got to make changes compared to what I was doing before, not have to overhaul everything. Like, you are exactly correct. And the government agency she works for still implements and uses this on just about a weekly basis. So with Mary Pat as an example, you're probably 90% of the way there. You're probably taking some movement. You're probably doing some marketing pieces right now. Chances are you might even be doing some of the marketing things we'll be talking about here shortly. What it comes down to is learning and then applying that additional 10%. And that will get you to the goals that you're really taking a look at. So with that being said, what I want to do is dive into what our solution is. I'll go step by step through the way. And definitely take a lot of notes. Feel free to ask questions at the end. I'll cover some of the most common questions that we get on a regular basis with it as well. And so let's go ahead and get started. So the highly effective 157-year-old marketing technique that we're dominating in is direct mail. When it's done all the way. And it's not just the direct mail aspect of it. We also do take a look at current technologies such as Facebook, and I'll show you exactly how we leverage current technologies along with direct mail. So what this system is, it's called the direct mail to digital system. Because again, we live in a very digital world. Regardless of how people find out about you, if it is direct mail, if it's a billboard, if it's a car wrap, if it's a neighbor talking about you, they're going to go online and do some more due diligence, find out some more information. So that's why we want to be able to leverage today's digital world. So that's why we have a direct mail to digital system. So the first thing we want to do is take a look and really micro-target your audience. Get to know them on a very intimate basis. Then you want to surround them. Wherever they are, you want to be in front of them again and again and again and again. The key to marketing used to be 5 to 7 touch points before they would fully find you credible and want to do business with you. That number continues to go up. You're looking anywhere really at this point in time from 7 to 10 different touch points before they'll find you fully credible. So we want to surround them. We want to control those touch points and have those touch points be with them in a short amount of time. You want to offer value throughout, not just, hey, look at me, I'm cool, I'm amazing, I'm fantastic. You really want to offer value and you want to be consistent. And I'll show you exactly how. So the old habits, if you would go do direct mail, you would purchase a list from somebody. Could be anywhere from $600 to I've seen people pay upwards of $1,500 for a list. You'd go to the printer and be like, hey, print shop, I have this list. Here's an idea that I have in regards for a direct mail piece. Here's the general consensus when it comes to messaging and design. Make it look pretty, make it sound good. So the printer does all the design work. They pull it all together. They send out that letter or postcard. Generally speaking, it's kind of a form letter, or it's a 4x6 postcard, which is the most common size that everybody else sends out. The call to action most times is just too soft or too murky for the audience, and wait for the business to roll in. And most of the time when you purchase a list, it's really just a zip code you're going after. So not even segmented out, it's just a zip code. So when these businesses are waiting for business to roll in the doors, a lot of times they're disappointed. And that's when you get to the 0.015% ROI or even to the 1 to 2% ROI. So what I want to do now is break down exactly what we do to get 10 times the results. First, we start off with thinking small. Again, we want to micro-target our audience. And when I say think small, let's just say it's a zip code you want to go after. It's not that entire zip code. You almost want to go household by household by household in that zip code. That's how small you want to get. And I'll explain how, and I'll show you screenshots of exactly how we do that. Then we want to go and leverage the new technologies. Like I said, regardless how they find out about you, they want to do due diligence online. They'll do some more research. So we'll show you exactly how to surround them once they get on that. Then we want to show you how to kind of update some old methods of marketing that potentially you've been doing before. And I'll obviously, and you've heard me say it probably 20 times by now, show you how to be consistent and be consistent throughout this. And also, at the end of the day, we get to know the exact ROI each time we do this type of campaign. So it becomes really clear, hey, was it a 1% return? Was it a 10% return? Was it a 30% return? Is that you'll know very clearly exactly what that return is. So step number one, audience. Again, get to know them intimately. It's not necessarily like, for example, the family on the left-hand side. It's not just a family with kids. Is that it's the mother. Women in relationships control 78% of all spend. If you take a look at their influence when it comes to vacations, when it comes to big item, big ticket purchases, when it comes to, kind of financial issues, they control even that, bit higher percentage of spend. So it's not just targeting families, it's targeting mothers. And in that case, it could be a 30 to 45-year-old mother. On the right-hand side, it's not just targeting business people. It's targeting potentially the CEO that's 50 to 60 years old. Or maybe it's the HR director. And the HR director, maybe she is 35 to 45 years old with certain characteristics. So you want to dive in even a little bit more than what most of you are probably thinking right now. So the first thing we do is we establish the best buyer profile. And I'll walk you through this so you have an example of it. We do have examples that we can give away as well. Actually kind of a template, I should say, that we can give away, and you literally just kind of plug in exactly what you're looking for and plug in the details. But what I want to do is high-level view, start off on what a best buyer profile should look like, and I'll walk you through an example, and then I'll talk about where you can pull some of this information from. So what you want to do in the best buyer profile is you want to take a look at their background. There's 6 areas you really want to dive deep into. Is that you want to look at their background, their demographics, their identifiers, lifestyle, beliefs, and challenges. And now if you're taking notes, is to jot down each one of those 6 categories and leave 3 or 4 spaces in between each one of those. And we'll cover in detail each one of those so you have an example of what we're talking about. Also, when we're getting to know this, you want to know them intimately. So you have to be able to find a photo of them just off of Google, the typical best buyer for you, and attach a photo to everything you're doing. So that way, we're visual creatures as human beings. That way, if somebody is walking down the street and you can identify them, like, hey, that's a potential best buyer for us. And you can really relate to that individual much better. So again, what I want to do, and for this example, what I pulled together was a family, what we had on the first or the previous screen. And since the woman controls the majority of spend in that family, is I wanted to go and concentrate on just her. So we grabbed a photo on Google of about a 32, 33-year-old female that's a mother, and plugged that in there and gave her a name of Heather Clark. So what we do then, like I said, we have 6 categories: background, demographics, and identifiers are the first 3 that we really take a look at. So for her background, and how do we collect this information? I'll show you some examples or some places we collected at the very end. One of the big ones is simply interview 5, 7, 10 of your current clients. Pick their brain a little bit. Ask them why they do business, what's their background, kind of what makes up their family, what makes up their demographics, psychographics, those type of things. What happens when you interview a couple of your current clients is two things. You get a lot of great, intimate information and details. The second thing is you really start building up a better relationship with those people. They get warm and fuzzies inside because they love being interviewed. They love having other people come around and ask them questions and kind of peek a little bit deeper into exactly who they are and what makes them up. So that's where you can pull some of these details from. And again, I'll give you free resources online that you can go to pull out the rest of the details. So for her, we know that she's in Lincoln because the example takes place in Lincoln. Moved to Lincoln for school and found love, and she works at a law firm. We know the majority of females in the market we're going after are young professionals, about 10 years out of school. So I mean, she's 32, she's married with 2 very young kids, and a household income of $58,000. Now we have people joining us really throughout the United States. To give you a point of perspective, and the reason why I absolutely love living in Nebraska, is we have a really low cost of living. And when we put up $58,000 household income, depends where you're at, you might be, well, that isn't much. They can't even survive on that. The average household income in Lincoln, Nebraska is actually $49,000. So that's about $10,000 more than the average, so almost 10% more than the average household income. And you can live okay for that. You have a nice house, you can own a house, you can have a nice backyard in a decent neighborhood, drive around, nicer cars. So with that 58,000, let's put it in perspective, it's 10% more than what the average is. Identifiers. With her being a young mom, we know she's trying to balance family and work life. Majority of young moms are trying to balance that, so it's almost a given. While she loves being identified with her family, she still yearns for her younger years. And I'm sure you can relate to some people you've met, females, or it might be you as well. And then once you have a couple of kids, is that you still want to be able to escape. You still want to be able to have fun. You're not going to let your hair down type of thing. She doesn't have a ton of discretionary income, but again, she likes to be spontaneous. Then we dive into the next couple of categories, lifestyle and beliefs. Because we know her household income on average, we know that she doesn't necessarily live paycheck to paycheck, but probably doesn't have a ton of spending money. Lives in the first house that they bought together, but they're looking to upgrade over the next year or two. Generally, when people take a look at upgrading their home from their first home to their second home, you're looking right around the ages of 32 to 35. And so she's right in that wheelhouse. Nell should be looking up and moving, fairly soon. Quite busy with sick kids, doctor's appointments, after-school programs, trying to be great at work and just being a good mom. So that's some of the lifestyles. Now you can have an idea of how to kind of better relate, better understand. Where she's at in her life. And again, I'll give you some resources where you can pull out these type of details for the exact buyers you're going after. Beliefs. Feels forgotten at times and feels it's her role to reignite their relationship. Sometimes is semi-jealous of friends without their kids or without any kids and the perceived freedoms, and is completely in love with her husband and really understands how important it is to still date. So you can start tapping into her belief system. The belief system is what's really going to get her to take action. If you can talk to her belief system and tie that into some of the other demographic psychographics, you can get her to take some pretty solid action. Some challenges, and where we get some of this, again, is through those interviews, is that convincing her she needs more than a few hours away. This was for a tourism client. So the tourism client was just a 45-minute drive, but she needs to get away from the kids for more than a couple of hours. So you can have fun, different experiences that you can't just have in Lincoln. And it's okay to let her in-laws watch the kids for a night, because at the end of the day, she's only 45 minutes away, so she's so close enough if something happens. So where you can pull these quotes from is, again, the interviews, or just having conversations with your clients prior and knowing some of the things that are going through their mind. Plus, taking a look at their lifestyle and beliefs and their challenges, it's easy to be able to bring up some of these quotes. So, some real quotes. With kids, work, after school activities, everything else, it's easy to forget about us time. I miss us. There are so many other things in our lives that distract us from each other, and I would like to escape for the weekend, but I don't want to be too far away. So what we do, we take all that information and we combine it and we put it together in an overall marketing message. This might not be the exact words that you use, but it gets you a pretty damn good start in the direction you need to head. So she deserves an escape. She's told you that. Being a 32-year-old female with a couple young kids and a mom and working, you know damn well she deserves an escape. While it's only 45 minutes away in this case, it's still far enough to reconnect and close enough to home to come home if she needs to. It helps to rekindle that fire and that passion because she feels it's her role in the relationship to continue to do that and really to get back to us, get back to just being us. So you can see the impact that this can make is being able to dive deeper into your best buyers. And again, being small business owners, being involved in business for a while, I'm sure you have inklings of who your audience is. The challenge is, and of all the clients, over 221 that we've implemented this for, is I would say less than 5% have actually ever written down exactly who their best buyers are and chucked it down and even somewhat close it this way. There's different methods to get to this, to get this information, but to get anything even close, maybe 5% of those people have done it. And that's why it's important to be able to take some time up front, build this out, because then that leads all the direction when it comes to messaging, when it comes to design, and exactly how you need to go after them. So I told you I'd give you some resources. Nielsen is one of them, and I'll get to Nielsen actually in a second. Where else we pull these resources to kind of really dig deeper into our best buyers? The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics And Michigan, the business school, I think it's Ross Business School, if I recall correctly, on Michigan's campus, they have the behaviors of consumers. They pulled together a report. If you just Google behavior of consumers Michigan, you should be able to pull out that report. And it gives you some fantastic insights into that as well. The one that I like to use and you really start off with is Nielsen now, and it's my best segments. And what I have is a screenshot here. So what you do is you type in your target's zip code, and then it kind of chunks it down in a couple other segments. And so what we ended up doing with a couple other segments is you figure out what segment are those people in. So for me, what I did, I just typed in the zip code that we lived in at the time. It brought up some nice information on us, and Home Sweet Home tended to work fairly well with exactly who we were and the targets we're really going after. And so you just type that in, and then it'll show you household statistics, medium income, neighborhood demographics, household demographics, lifestyle. So again, that's where you pull a lot of this information from. You can see the map on the lower right-hand side. You can see the red blocks kind of throughout. So if you're trying to sell something more on a national scale, you can see those neighborhoods of the red blocks match up really well with the market that we were going after for this. But if it's more of a local thing, you can break it down neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood. And Nielsen's best segments, that there's a paid version. And I think the paid version, the last time we did it, it's a monthly subscription, might be $150. It'd be probably the best $150 that you spend. However, we have a lot of clients that just use the free version and get some fantastic information and enough information for them to really kind of carry on that whole side of it. So it's a really cool segment, and I'd really challenge you to be able to Google that, download it, take a look at it, and start filling in your best buyers just based off of this. Also, did you know you can purchase the exact buyers? We're talking about these exact same type of details for even less than half a cent per person. You know, we'll be able to show you during kind of the seminar is exactly where we buy our list for a fraction of the cost you're probably paying now. On average, our list costs anywhere between $150 to the most expensive about $400. But still, that's anywhere between 5% to really 20% of what most other people are paying. We'll also talk about how you can replicate the exact best buyers you have right now. So you have a client list. Let's say it's 1,000 people that are doing business with you, or let's just say it's 100 people that are doing business with you right now. Is we'll show you exactly where you can go to purchase a list. And what you do is you give them your current client name, address, and phone number, or at least name and phone number. And what they'll do is they'll pull 19 common characteristics of your best buyers, your current clients. And what the system does is it'll go ahead and then it'll find the most common important characteristics of those buyers, and it'll replicate a list based off of that. So we'll find other people to match up exactly like your current clients to live in the neighborhoods and the communities that you're targeting that share those common characteristics, and you start targeting those people. It's a fantastic, fantastic tool. So the next thing is once you kind of go through the best buyer segment is you have to know your numbers. You have to know lifetime value. And how do you find lifetime value is how many times will they purchase from you in the next 3 years? The reason why it's 3 years is it's something that we can all foresee vision-wise. It's not too far off. It's not 5 years. It's not 10 years. Is it generally speaking, if you do a good product or service with somebody, they should come back to you numerous times in 3 years. If you're in real estate, for example, and obviously the average person only buys a house every 7 to 8 years, what we look at is how many times can they refer business off to you in the next 10 years. So that's our definition of lifetime value. And so when you take a look at this, is again, you want to do the whole 80-20 rule. Is that 80% of your revenue really comes from about 20% of your most profitable clients and customers. So what we do when we take our clients through the lifetime value is simply how many times they buy from you in the next 3 years, and what's your average purchase price. So for example, if I know they'll buy from me 10 times over the next 3 years, the average purchase price is $120. I know the value and lifetime value is $1,200. So if you have to spend $60 to get that person in there the first time, it's not a 2-to-1 return. It's a 20-to-1 return because we're focused on lifetime here. I imagine you all want to be in business for the next 3, 5, 10, 20, 50 years, whatever that number may be. You want to be in business much longer than the next 3 to 4 months. So you have to fully concentrate on lifetime value and be able to pull them in to get the results you're looking for. So one of the best examples of understanding lifetime value is a daycare center. And if any of you are moms, or any of you have helped, or I should say helped, but just paid for daycare, you know how expensive it is. My oldest daughter is a sophomore in high school. When she goes to college in a couple of years, it will actually be cheaper for us to pay for her tuition and her books than it is for us to send our 4-year-old to daycare. It's absolutely unreal and ungodly how expensive daycare is. But we have a client, and she wanted to be able to attract new families, new kids into her daycare center. She knew the average child stayed with her for 2.5 years. In those 2.5 years, their gross revenue off that one child was $18,000. So we ran a campaign. And that campaign offered free diapers for a year. Free diapers for an entire year for your kid while they're at that daycare. Moms ate it up. They absolutely loved it. They're like, oh, that's fantastic. Diapers is a pain in the butt. We always seem like we're running out. And plus, in their minds, it's costly. Don't get me wrong, it is costly. But in their minds, generally, it's more costly than what it actually is. So the daycare center, they would buy these diapers in bulk. I think the average cost for them to put diapers on a child for an entire year was like $256. So she was more than happy to give away $256 in order to make $18,000 over the next 2.5 years. So again, that's the power of lifetime value, is understanding it's not about the amount of money that's coming in at day number one. It's what's coming in consistently over the next 3 years. And again, it's important to hit home on that. So the next step, direct mail. We finally get into the direct mail portion of it that we kind of talked about at the beginning, but direct mail. So our system is you want to stagger your direct mail pieces, and it has to be 4. We've done this numerous times, numerous different ways. 4 tends to work out really the best. Send out 4 direct mail pieces over the average buy-in cycle. If you're a dentist, maybe it's 4 times over a 6-month period of time, because people are supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months. If you're an eye doctor, maybe it's 4 times over 9 months type of thing. Be able to hit them up before their appointment, after appointment, those different types of things. The very first thing you have to send out to them is a high-end piece, something to break through the clutter. Here's an example of one that was ran when it came to a hair salon. It's a nice looking card, but we attach a little sample of hair to it, kind of one of those fake samples of hair to grab their attention. And we talked to have every door directory at the USPS post office. And what they ended up doing was being able to stick that little piece of hair outside of some of the mailboxes. And so grab their attention. It was something different. It was something really strange and weird. And it allowed them to really break through that clutter. And so we've done anything from doing that to being a dentist and sending out toothbrushes in that first piece, to doing something with kind of a different fold, different cuts. We've done things where you send out boxes, and maybe in that box you have like a stress ball or a pen or something. But it needs to be something higher end and different than a form letter or a postcard. Because this is the one that really breaks through that clutter and grabs their attention first. And you want to be able to grab their attention right away. The next 2 pieces you can send out needs to be oversized postcards. We're talking 6x9 postcards, even a little bit bigger postcards. But those 6x9 postcards, those are there to hit them up consistently and to remind them, hey, this is who we are and here's some value for you. Here's some tips, here's some tricks, here's some advice, whatever it may be. But you want to hit them up during the middle part of the buying cycle. The last piece needs to be another really high-end piece. And when I say high-end, again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be different. And this one has to have the strongest call to action yet to date. This one is you want to use, if they haven't come in yet to do business with you, or at least, kind of show some interest, is you want this to be kind of that final offer to get them to come through your place and come through your doors. So it has to be high-end at the beginning, and then postcards in the middle, and the high-end at the end. And like I said, is that we've done anything from even sending out fake-looking playbooks to high school coaches that really kind of grab their attention. One of them that I loved, we didn't run this campaign, but I love the idea behind it, is that they were targeting higher-end CEOs of larger companies. They realized that the CEO of the company they were targeting was in Vegas for a conference, and they saw the conference took place Tuesday through Thursday, and so then they assumed that he'd probably be back on Friday. So what they ended up doing was shipping a box to his office on Friday, an oversized box, and on the top there was a note that says, hey, we found your wallet in Vegas. Because what happens with this big company is you have a gatekeeper, and it's tough to get past this gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper saw it. She saw that personalized note, hey, we found your wallet. She's like, oh, okay. So she gave it directly to the CEO this company is trying to get in with. The CEO opened it up. It was a wallet. It was a really kind of cheap wallet type of thing, but it had their marketing materials in it. And the CEOs that received this overall really, really loved it. I thought it was great because it was a cool thing, different thing, broke that clutter, grabbed their attention, and at least started the whole process from there. Sorry about that. I really thought I had all my notifications shut off. On the next piece, the call to action is helping to define what that is. It could be sending them to your website. Maybe it's creating phone calls. Maybe it's downloading a white paper. Maybe it's scheduling an appointment, emailing a request. It's all kinds of different things, but you have to define exactly what your ROI is. Yes, the easy answer is, well, I want more business, I want more revenue. I completely understand that. What's the first steps? What does your sales funnel look like? How do we get your users into the sales funnel? That's what your first steps are. That's where you need to start, and this is where you really need to start creating this, is figuring out how to get them in their sales funnel from the get-go. So, tips overall on how to maximize your direct mail pieces: use handwriting. Anytime and any place that you can do handwriting, use handwriting on your direct mail pieces. Even on some of the postcards, we'll leave an open gap on the back end of it and do a quick little, hey Bob, it was great seeing you. Hey, I look soon to connecting with you, or I look forward to connecting with you soon. Something quick. Insert promotional products. Studies have shown even if you do a direct mail piece with a simple pen in an envelope, the user, the receiver, gets that envelope with the pen. They know there's a pen in it, but still, we're human, and we're very curious creatures. We still want to open it up. And so we open it up, we find that pen, it gives us that chance then to go ahead and read the rest of the marketing materials we might have inside there. You also got to exceed value. And we'll really dive into this a lot during the seminar. It's not just look at me, I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm cool, I'm fantastic. It's, hey, here's some value, here's some tips and tricks. Here's some things that you can take, you can use on your own without necessarily coming back to us to have us implement it for you. The end game is obviously for them to become a client of yours, but if you give them a ton of value, that leads to them becoming clients and long-lasting clients. And also use different forms in the mail pieces. Anything from name forms, any way to personalize it. Well, we've done it before. We're hitting up certain neighborhoods, and we literally went around to 7 neighborhoods, took photos of kind of the common landmark, if you will, of those neighborhoods, and we just used that as forms. On the first direct mail piece we sent out, so it was a customized photo of that neighborhood to the people we're mailing to. So something they can really, really relate to. So the next steps that we want to cover is leveraging how this 157-year-old marketing technique called direct mail, how you leverage that with today's modern media. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at how you take a direct mail piece like that, kind of a sales kit, if you will, and you leverage it to start off with on Facebook. So many people don't realize, I would say probably 3 to 5% of people out there realize, if you buy a list from somebody and you have that person's phone number or email address, you can upload that list to Facebook. If you upload that list to Facebook, you can start running customized ads to those people on your list. So envision this. You send them out a direct mail piece and they hop on to, so they receive your direct mail piece, they hop onto Facebook because that's what they do. Millions of Americans hop onto Facebook every single day and just start scrolling. And so they see their friend up top. Well, then there's a little ad. They see your branding down below. The branding actually ties directly into that mail piece, the direct mail piece you just sent. From direct mail or from Facebook, then they click on your ad. Then they go check out your website. Okay. Because again, if you think about it, with us being curious creatures, if we just got this direct mail piece, now it just happened to see an ad that appeared or brand that appears, is a lot of times, since we're curious, is we'll click on it to see kind of what's going on. And then you go get them on your website. They're on your website for 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it may be. But then what you do is you start retargeting them. And we'll get into details of this. So when they go to check out their local news source, well, they see your ad again. They go to see if it's golfing weather yet, and they see your ad yet again. So now you're leveraging one direct mail piece, the very first one that you ship out, along with online current marketing techniques, digital marketing techniques. So within literally, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 2 hours, they received the direct mail piece in the mail. They checked out Facebook, saw your ad on Facebook. Then they went and just checked out some other things on the internet, local news and weather. You can have 4 to 5 to 6 different touch points with them within a couple of hours. Like you said, the whole goal is to get 7 to 10 touch points with these people And if you can knock out 4 or 5 of them within a couple of hours, you can see how this can help really drive the buying decision process for those people and really build up a lot of credibility with you as well. So what we want to do is just leverage your target, leverage where they're at, and where they're at is online. Average person spends 27 hours per week online, which is ungodly if you just think about it. But part of that time is watching TV shows. So a lot of times I watch TV shows or watching TV shows online while they're still surfing the internet on their phones, iPads, those different type of things. So be around them, surround them exactly where they're at. The next stage and the final stage on this is once you've gone through the direct mail, you build out your audience, you know exactly who you want to go after. You put together your direct mail pieces. You have a sales cycle, let's call it of 6 months. You've hit them up 4 times in 6 months. You've leveraged then them going to Facebook, them going on your website, retargeting them wherever they go. So they see you again and again and again and again and again and again. How you gauge your ROI is simple. You've got a mail list at the beginning of this. That mail list will give you the person's name, phone number, address, whatever other details you ask, but at least their name. What you do, it's simple, is you simply, if they come in and make contact with you, email, phone call, come to the store, schedule an appointment, whatever it may be, is you check their name off the list. Yes or no? Did they come visit you? Did they come engage with your company at all? Yes or no? That's how you figure out the ROI. Did they engage with you? And then what's the average lifetime value? So again, if you had 100 people that engaged with you, and the average lifetime value is $100, you know, you got $10,000 of lifetime value that they've had. And so it becomes really easy on the whole front to be super clear on this. So the lifetime value is your true ROI. We've been able to give this away. We've been able to do these seminars. And people love it at the end of the day because they always question what the ROI is. It's simple. Pull out that Excel sheet of the mail list. Did John Smith come in? Yes or no? Did Betty come in? Yes or no? And our goal is to get them in the door. Your goal is to close them. So the goal is to get them to come to you first, and it's up to you to have a good product, good service, good, basically everything that surrounds it. So you must close them at the end of the day. So some case studies, and then we'll dive into some more examples here. A dentist. It's the dentist that we worked with. Their community was only 2,500 people big. I mean, they live in a small town. And we decided not to target the entire small town. What we did is we targeted families with younger kids in that small town. And so the targeted list was just 600 people. And the reason why we did families is because obviously it's great to have one person come in. It's better to have 4 people come in. Husband, wife, 2 kids. And so what we did for the first piece is we gave them away a free toothbrush. And then the next 2 pieces were the postcards, and the fourth piece was the toothbrush again. The ROI right off the bat was 141%. They had so much traffic, so many people coming in and using their toothbrush really on a daily basis with their brand on it, which was fantastic. And it really just changed the level of business they were doing. A mechanic, and this tells you how to leverage a list, is that all he worked on was BMWs, Mercedes, and Lexuses. And so what we ended up doing is buying a list of owners of BMW, Mercedes, and Lexuses. So all the pieces we put together, we had great value. Here's some things you got to consider on your Lexus or Mercedes. Here's when it comes to wear and tear. Here comes the maintenance. Here comes some common issues. If you do this and that, then we'll give you, X number of years longer on your car or more miles or better gas mileage. We gave them a ton of just value off the bat. The results of it at the end of the day is the result of just the first mailer paid for the entire campaign. We also worked with an IT consultant, and they worked with higher end people. We're talking about CEOs, CIOs of hospitals, presidents of banks. And so what we ended up doing is that she has a small list to go after. I mean, total between all the hospitals and banks she wanted to hit up was 300. What we did, though, is we targeted the absolute best 20 of those hospitals and absolute best 20 of those banks. And what we did is we put together a quick little call to action on the very first direct mail piece, and it was a customized video. When I say a customized video, the customized video literally took 45 seconds to shoot. Out of those 40 that she had to shoot, 20 for hospitals and 20 for banks, it took her a combined total of 1 hour and 20 minutes to shoot all those videos. We all can find 1 hour and 20 minutes, sometimes, some weekends, some nights, some early morning to be able to do something like that. Because what happened is that 33% of those people that received that first direct mail piece with the link to that customized video looked at that video within the first day, And at the end of their sales cycle, which is an entire 12-month period of time, 60% of the targets sign contracts with the company. And so again, it was a huge, huge game changer. And we're able to leverage just the direct mail along with the current habits. And so we're able to be around them. And it can make a one-person shop seem like a huge operation because, again, perception is reality. If I see a company all over the place, and it's almost like legalized stalking, but if they're all over the place and I see them again and again and again and again, I'm more likely to be able to buy from them because it shows credibility and it just makes me that much more familiar with them. So takeaways. You got to think small when it comes to your list and your audience and be able to go after these people. Just thinking small right there, literally we've saved clients 40% on their marketing costs because instead of sending things out to say 5,000 people, we're targeting just 1,000 people. So just in print costs and postage costs alone, you can save a ton of cash. Leverage Facebook and just leverage the internet and retargeting as a whole. Gauge the ROI off the lifetime value. Give them value throughout. Like I said, stock them nonstop. Just be consistent. The biggest thing is you got to be consistent. The ones that we've taught this to and the ones that honestly have failed are the ones that have given up after doing it once or maybe 2 direct mail pieces and that's it. You got to be consistent again and again and again and again. With that being said, I know I covered a lot. It can be overwhelming. There's some new things in here. Like I said, ideally this video is going to work so we can get you the webinar replay as well. And it's understandable if you're kind of overwhelmed, your head is spinning. So I challenge you to be able to take those notes and reference those notes. So there's a couple of options you have if you really want to dive in and really, truly learn this and take advantage of it. You can Google or YouTube it. You can Google and YouTube pretty much anything. What we all know is that being able to Google and YouTube, you'll get all kinds of different advice from all over the place. So another option is that, hey, let's show you. You can hire Molly Academy and our staff to visit you, learn your business, create your own direct mail and digital system, run it for you, and hand over customized templates so you can do it again and again and again with additional campaigns. This starts at about $12,000 plus ad spend. So that's just option number 1. Option number 2, you can hire Molly Academy and my sister agency, Molly Marketing, to do it completely in-house from start to finish for you. That's $4,600 plus ad spend. Or the other option number 3, you could join the Molly Academy Direct Mail and Digital Workshop and learn these advanced strategies directly from me. So what we have is that we have this 4-week training workshop that is set up. With this 4-week training workshop is that first week, we discover your most profitable best buyers. We dive deep into it. It's interactive. We have conversations. It's a go-to meeting type of thing where we can all talk and have conversations back and forth and really learn from each other. So you'll discover your most profitable best buyers. I'll give you feedback. I'll show you exactly what to go, what questions to ask. Week 2 are the secrets and the templates. We'll give you the templates to proven direct mail pieces. We'll talk about messaging. We'll talk about design. I'll give you the templates for the design for you to be able to plug in your own stuff, plug in some of your own design elements and messaging elements. Week number 3 is all about targeting on Facebook and how you set up these ads. So once they receive the direct mail piece, you start targeting them on Facebook. And then week number 4, we'll talk about how do you retarget? How do you go from just Facebook to if they go to Google or your local news source or the weather.com or Fox News, CNN, ESPN, I see our ads run actually all the time, until they fully make a buying decision. So week number 4 is really, we'll kind of go over that. And to be open with you, a lot of times we have a 5th week. And the 5th week is be able to regroup. You've set all this stuff, you put all this stuff together, you're getting ready to take action, or you have, and it's just kind of a decompress week. And so we have that as well. So perhaps you're concerned that the digital to direct marketing workshop with all of its amazing strategies will cost a small fortune. And to be open with you, it should. After all, the direct mail and digital workshop has already helped 221 small businesses achieve closings of millions in additional revenue. So I'll get to the price in just a few minutes. First, I want to show a few more unique benefits of this one-of-a-kind workshop that we will deliver to you. We will teach you how to avoid wasting thousands in direct mail costs by mailing to the specific people you have a proven track record of being interested in your product or service. You will enjoy having a templated, proven system doing the heavy lifting for you and taking out the angst of just guesswork. We'll also reveal specifically how to take your direct mail list, upload it to Facebook, and how this will massively leverage the return on your direct mail campaign. Plus, I won't go into details here, but it's one of my favorite strategies where you can take your current list of clients and learn how to replicate them and find more buyers exactly like them in your market. You'll also discover a marketing firm's biggest lies you must avoid if you want to finally achieve the success that you desire. Plus, we'll unlock the secrets of where to buy highly targeted lists for a fraction of the cost that most firms will charge you. So the price of the digital direct mail workshop sold by itself generally is $1,997. That price isn't freedom, and I'll explain why. For watching this entire presentation today, I'd like to give you 2 value-added bonuses free of charge, just to help you increase your marketing ROI even faster. The first gift you'll be receiving is our package of best buyer and direct mail templates that show you exactly how to target your absolute best buyers and set up your direct marketing campaigns, saving you hours and hours and hours and thousands in design fees. It's normally $797, but it's yours free. The second gift you'll be receiving is access to our Facebook group page where you can connect with others in the Molly Academy community and leverage their successes in marketing activities. Normally, we sell access to this group for $698 for the year, but again, that's yours free. So now you can see why the digital direct mail, the direct mail digital workshop is valued at $1,997. And when you add in the bonuses, the retail value of the direct mail to digital workshop is $1,997 plus $797 plus $698, which equals $3,492. However, for watching this presentation today, I have a much better deal coming your way, so keep watching because it will not be available after the webinar is over. And it's not even half of $3,492, and it's not even $1,246. Today only, and from the presentation, your investment in the direct mail digital workshop, including all the bonuses, is valued at $3,492, is only $997. So take a look, and this is gonna be pretty high tech here because I got a quick copy and paste edit. Perfect. So if we take a look at this over here on the side, here is the link that you have to be able to go ahead and buy into this now. If you click on the link that follows, I want to increase my revenue and lock in your discounted price for $997. I want you to do this. I want you to try this on me so you don't have to make a decision right now. I want you to take advantage of my triple guarantee. I want you to try the direct mail to digital workshop on me for the first 2 full classes. If you do not learn the secret of finding best buyers, exactly like your current clients, or you do not find your service or retention superb, or if you don't like my jokes, no worries. I'll refund every penny you invested. No questions asked, no hassles, and really at the end of the day, no hard feelings. So look to the left of the video right now, to the chat feature. Click on the link that follows. I want to increase my revenue now and lock in your discounted price today. Plus, if you do act now, before the presentation ends, I'm going to include the super bonus worth an extra $125, absolutely free. You'll get a free 30-minute phone consultation with myself to discuss your current marketing strategies, any of your current marketing strategies. And that brings your total over $3,617. But now, just by clicking on the link that says, I want to increase my revenue now, you'll get the entire direct mail and digital workshop package for just $997. It's really that simple. Remember, you'll get bonus 1, do-it-yourself templates, bonus 2, exclusive access to our Facebook community, the triple money back guarantee, and the super bonus, the 30-minute phone consultation with myself. So immediately after you buy, we'll add you to our exclusive Facebook community so you can immerse yourself. Then you can head over to the Molly Academy and download our templates so you can discover what your clients are shouting just to share with you. And again, this will ensure that you get started quickly. By joining our community and downloading the Best Buyer's Guide template, you'll help get off on the right foot so you too can start getting maximum results from your direct mail efforts. Remember, along with making the decision to change your business for the better today, you'll also be receiving the bonus 1, do-it-yourself templates, bonus 2, exclusive access to our Facebook community, the triple money guarantee, and super bonus, the 30-minute consultation with myself. So click on the left and let's get started. Now, if you're still watching, I bet you have some questions. And I know the top thing is I promised to be at an hour and just an hour. And so we really have 3 minutes to cover the rest of this. So let's dive deeper into a couple of the most common questions that we really get on a regular basis. One is I don't necessarily have additional time to be able to implement this. Time, honestly, is one of the biggest excuses that people have. And 98% of the time, it's exactly that. It's just an excuse. With a lot of things we're covering, chances are you're doing components of it now, you're just not doing it right. If you start doing some of the components now, and really you start building out when it comes to templates and showing you exactly where to go and what to do, eventually you'll be able to save time on this. The other objection that we get is like, hey, I just don't have enough money to be able to do this. We've literally implemented this whole campaign for as little as $1,000 for a client. We have one working on it right now. They're spending Facebook AdWise $300 in their first direct mail piece, since it's a small target. Costs, what was it, $178, $179. And so regardless of the budget, it can work, and it's been proven to work again and again and again and again and again and again. Like I said, you also have that guarantee on it. The other component we hear from time to time is like, I'm just not smart when it comes to online marketing, when it comes to all this digital stuff. That's great. That's fantastic. Like, I completely understand. We'll show you, and we'll give you cheat sheets to show you exactly what buttons to hit. So you might not be smart when it comes to quote unquote Facebook or retargeting, but you can follow a cheat sheet. You can follow a cheat sheet from start to finish. If you hit this button, then this button, then this button, then this button, and that's really truly about as easy as we make it to be. So again, I know we're running right into the 11 o'clock, and I told you we're going to be right at 60 minutes. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate you sticking with us. I'll try to send out the follow-up replay here shortly today, so you can really kind of regurgitate, go through this again, kind of give us some more thoughts. But obviously, click on the link on the left-hand side to decide today to really get started and help leverage the marketing that you have going on. And definitely look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.